success for a lot of people, and but after this, these moments start happening. You're gonna have the worry becomes different, right? It becomes, hey, is this ever gonna happen? Is this gonna happen? And then when it does happen, it's like, all right, so when do I sell? When do I sell? Like the worries, you know what I mean? You guys probably know what I'm talking about. Like, you still get a worry. The worry is now is like, hey, when do I sell? How high is this thing gonna go? What should I do? What should I do? And it's true. One to another. This is what's probably happening. You're welcome, guys. Thank you all for all the supporters out there. I'm hopefully, these are just my notes. I don't expect you guys to read this, but I'm going to use this dry erase board as I talk, okay? So, the first thing I want to talk about is the last video I made, and I called the 28th, 29th, right? So I call 28th, which is today, and 29th. Wait, is today the 29th? I got my days all mixed up. I think today's the 29th. Yeah, I'm on the East Coast. Today's the 29th, all right? So 28th didn't happen, right? So everyone's like, well, Chris, you said the 28th, 29th. We're down to the 29th now, right? Is the 29th going to happen? No, it's not going to happen, okay? Just let you guys know. Let me scooch down here. The 29th is not going to happen. I want to tell you guys why. As always, I like to, is the pattern the same? Yes. Is what I see the same? Yes. Is timing, why is timing off? I'm going to explain to you guys why. So I want you guys to understand how I will sometimes be a couple days off or stuff, because it's not super easy to be days out and to say, okay, well, this is the pattern, I'll say, right? Let's just say this is the pattern and there's the burst, right? Well, when you're days out and like, let's say I'm like right here, right? And I'm trying to call this right here. Well, I don't know how big that's going to be. I know the pattern, but for example, like I'm calling right now, I'm telling you guys like, hey, BTC needs to fall. So BTC is on this one pattern that I'm aware of, and it's kind of like this, right? And it drops, and that's what I'm looking for. Okay. The problem is why, like, hey man, you said it was going to do it. I don't know if I'm looking for this pattern. I'm looking for the pattern. So it could do it here, it could do it here, it could do it here. But these are 4-hour candles, that I'm looking at. So 4 hours goes by, another 4 hours goes, but next thing you know, you're rolling into the next day. So, which is why I don't mind being off like that. The end result is what I'm looking for. So I don't mind showing you guys, hey, look, I told you guys 2029, it's not happening. People can be like, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I'm like, I'm explaining it to you. So if you understand this, then you'll understand, like, okay, I see what he's doing. He knows the pattern, but he doesn't know how big this formation is going to be, because like I just said, it could be this size, it could be that big, it could be that big, it could be that big, but it's still the same pattern. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, so I want to let you guys know that. So the tail end, I told you guys before. I'll just do this as the pattern. There's like two halves, right? So we're over here on the second half. Okay? The first half is done. The second half's on. We're down here at this tail end. Okay? And I want to show you guys what I'm looking at for that to happen. Now, how many days out are we? I almost want to take that BSV, because if you guys saw that tweet I made 2 days ago, I was like, yo, because this is what happened. I saw, and I don't look at BSV at all. I just want you guys to know that. I don't look at that. But when I saw it go up real big and everyone else was kind of chilling, I'm like, let me go look at that. So I went and looked at that, and I'm like, oh, I know exactly where that's at. I'm like, it looks like it's ahead of schedule. It started earlier. So it's not like it's better or anything like that. It's just like, two cars driving down the road, right? Like, let's say this is a starting line, and here is like XRP's here, BTC, all these other ones here, right? And they're all going to go at the same speed, right? They're all going to go 20 mile an hour down the road to the finish line, which we'll say is the burst, okay? Well, the thing is this one, BSV, was just out the gate earlier. That's all. They're all going to be traveling at the same speed, so to speak. Some of them might be different, but that's why I say, like, this one is just ahead right now. It's just running ahead, and look what happened today. It confirmed that. It confirmed it was ahead because it went up 50% on like 2 4-hour candles. And it's not done. You'll see. It's not done. And that's what to expect with XRP in some of these, okay? It's doing the same thing. I saw the pattern. I'll explain in a minute about the gooseneck. And I saw that, right? And what it did is it already did this the other day, 2 days ago, this movement here. And then it did this today, right? And what is this? That's that first valley. If you guys ever hear me talk about the valleys, that's the first valley. So BSV has created its first valley, which is what I'm looking for XRP to create, okay? So 28th, first half, second half, tail end. So the BTC thing I just told you, I'm looking for, and it could be, I'm looking at the 4-hour chart on it. So I'm looking for that, and I'll pull this up in a second. I want to talk to you guys first before I go on the projector, and I'll show you guys on there. But I'm looking for that pattern that it's doing. I'm looking for this to happen. Whoops, I should draw it in. I'm looking for it to do this. Okay? And after that, it's going up. Okay? And it's going to time it. It's going to be the same time around the same window as XRP. So XRP is going to do it too. There's actually a lot of other ones that are going to do it also. Okay, so just know that it's just not one. There's all of them are all. Here's the other thing. This is what gives me more confirmation is that we have the golden cross, right? The golden cross, which I get some of this information from because I'm reading patterns. That's my skill is read patterns. That's what I feel. But like Gordon Gecko is giving me that. So I'm like, okay, we got the golden cross in there. I'm like, what else is happening? I'm like, well, I look at the volume, right? The volume, if you look at the histograph, which is at the bottom, like it looks like the volume, the histograph, it does like, whenever there's like a burst, you'll see the volume go up, and then it'll come down as it's recovering. And then it'll do this, and then when it starts to get ready to do another burst, you'll see it start to pick up, right? And I'm seeing that, right? So that's a check mark for that. What else? Actually, I'm looking at the MACD. I'm actually liking the MACD because whenever I see I'm looking at BTC and I'm like, well, BTC needs to go down, and some people are like, oh no, it doesn't, it's not going to. I'm like, well, if you look at the MACD, when the MACD, the blue crosses that it actually crosses the bottom one, that's when it starts to go down. And if this one, if they'll kind of get into each other sometimes where it looks like it's about to come back up, which means it's going to go into green candles. But I anticipate it getting close like that, and it's like a fake, and it'll pump you out. And next thing you know, it's going to go down. Okay? So the MACD is supporting everything on schedule still. BTC's formation, supporting it. I got BSV ahead of the game, so I'm like, that's supporting it. Here's another thing on XRP's chart. It's forming the tail end, and I wanted to show you guys what can happen. This is why it can be kind of tough, is because at the tail end of this thing, I'm looking for, and I'm just going to use this as an example. Let's say I'm looking for something like this to happen, right? I'm looking for something like that to happen, all right? So I'm watching this unfold, so I'm like, check on that one. I'm like, all right, I see this one unfold. And I'm like, I see this one unfold. I'm like, I need this one to go down. And you want to know something? The timing on this one is right there with BTC's timing, okay? So I'm like, perfect. BTC's goes down, XRP goes down, and it does what it's about to do and go up. BTC goes up, okay? They're all their own little pattern, but I see them, okay? So that's a check mark for me for XRP. So I'm looking at all these things that are coming together to tell me, hey, this thing's gonna pop off, okay? And once again, man, BSV just showed you what can happen, man. You can just go that, and you can see it right there. All right. So those are the things. Those are some of the things I wanted to go over. Here, look at the chart. There was something else I wanted to look at. Oh, that's what it is. Let me wipe these away. So I learned this today because it was kind of crazy. So some of you guys out there that have been following me are understanding some of the things I'm doing, or some of the things I'm seeing. And for example, whenever we're in a bear market, the tail end might be like this. It might go straight. So when it's unraveling and it's doing like this, it's kind of level, right? Also, I've seen on history where when it unravels, it unravels like this. They both do this at the end, okay? When the pattern's ready to do it on the second half, okay? Here's what's interesting, and I just saw it on the most recent, right before the 14th of May, before we had a burst. This is where it almost threw me off, because some people might be like, oh, that's 3 rise and valleys, Chris, that's happening that you've been talking about, and it's not, because we're at the second half at the tail end of the pattern. So what I'm seeing happening, which you can look at right before May 14th, there's a little guy there, right? A little pattern there, and it's the pattern like this, but when it climbs, it's doing this. So remember, I just showed you. I'm like, when the bear market's like that, I'm seeing this, and I think since we're going bullish, I'm getting that pattern, that tail. That tail is actually is inverted. It's actually going up. It's on an increase. Okay. So that's what I'm seeing happening. So I'm seeing it going up, and I'm just going to use this as an example, like this, and I'm expecting the drop off, right? Before the drop off, before lift off. Okay. So that's what I'm looking at when I say slopes. If you guys are watching me when I'm talking about slopes, those are the slopes I'm looking at. After the slopes, what happens after the slopes? I'm looking for a gooseneck, okay? So after that slope, that last slope comes down, we're gonna see it's gonna get crazy down here. This is what we want to see happen. It's gonna kind of come up like this, right? And it's gonna make you think it's like about the moonshot, but it's gonna pull one of these. Okay? It's gonna pull that. And then it's going to do this, like BSV did today, okay? That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for this, I'm looking for this, and I'm looking for that. And as far as timing goes, everyone's like, Chris, when? I'm like, I need to see this. So the first thing we need to do is see this. We need to see this. So that's what we're looking for right here. After we complete this and we see this happen, you'll know when it happens. We're then on to the gooseneck, okay? So this is the gooseneck right here. And as you can see, it's, I just call it that because it's kind of like a gooseneck. And that's when we're moving out to the launch pad. That's why I said the goose has the golden egg. The goose is going over the slopes, all right? And then you find him, and he has the golden egg. That golden egg means the burst. I just have fun with some of the analogies and metaphors, all right? So that's that. Hopefully you guys understand. And no sleepy time tonight, no. When do I think this is happening? I thought it would already happen now, which is why I gave you guys the 28th and 29th. I thought that's what already had happened. I thought that would happen 28th, and then on 29th we're doing that, and boom, we got it. All right, not there yet. It could be. We'll look on here in a second. I'm going to turn on the projector, but it could be. This could happen late tonight or tomorrow. And then we got to form that, and then we're good, okay? So hopefully you guys are with me. That's what I'm looking for. I get this question a lot. Chris, when should I buy? When should I buy? Look, this is not financial advice. I'm just showing you guys what I'm doing. I don't want to tell you that. I don't feel comfortable telling you that. I have some buddies asking me, I'm like, if you're in now, you're, where this thing's going, you're good. But if you want to try to wait to see when this happens and buy there, you can. If you want to buy in now, buy in now. I'm holding. I'm not selling. I'm not trying to short this thing, because here's the truth. Remember, I told you it's doing it on an incline. So when it drops, I don't know how far it's going to go down. So I don't want to tell you 38 cents, even though it's possible. But it could be 39. It could be 40. And next thing you know, when you start seeing it form the gooseneck, then you know, hey, that down is done. That's probably your last stop right there. You see that? That's your last stop before this happens. And then you're going to be, FOMOing in. And I've had a couple people reach out to me like, hey man, I almost FOMO'd in because I saw, even though I say stuff like the BTC pattern does this, right, is what I'm looking for. Well, right here, there's some green candles going up like this, and they're going to obviously come back down and leave wicks at the top. But in the heat of the moment, people see this and like, nah, it's running, and they'll buy in. And I think a couple people said that they almost did. They didn't do that, but I can see that happening. And it is scary, so I don't expect you guys to not be kind of nervous and stuff. It's nerve-wracking. I have to trust the pattern I know. I have to go by that. I have to, because if I don't, I have to wait for it to make its move. If I know the move that's next.
All right, so let's look at the chart here. I'm going to go over to BSV first because I want to show you guys that. And any of those that watched the live, I apologize. I'm trying to fix it all now. So this is what's going on with BSV, and it did the climb. Like here's the full pattern right here. You got the first half, you got the second half, and after it did the first half, it did its second. And as you can see, that it's climbing on that tail end, which is what XRP is doing right now. So it did its form here, and then it did the gooseneck. It's probably right there, and then boom, boom. Look what happened to it. And I expect more movement out of this too. So it's interesting that that's what's happening. And you know, before it did it here, it went through the same motions, and there's probably 1, 2, 3, 4. There's probably 4 here, and it probably went. Let's see. It was actually climbing the same way. It was on a vertical one, which is what this one was doing, which is what XRP is doing. So I'm going to go to XRP now just to show you that, since we're talking about that one. And let me get that triangle off there. Okay. So as you can see, this was the first half, and then here's the second half. And this almost threw me off, but it is there. Let's see. Let's actually pull it back down this way. You can kind of see we got 1, 2, 3. I'm expecting 4, and there's going to be a drop off, and then it goes into the gooseneck, and I'm looking for that to happen right in here. Maybe within 2 days. And you can see this little guy. There was a little pattern here. So this is from the big pattern. Boom, and then it did a gooseneck, and it said pop. And then this one did a. This is the first half of the pattern, and this is the second half, and the second half is climbing. And you can see the long wicks and stuff there from the volume, and that's what's happening here. Okay, so just to give you guys an idea, this little thing is this thing. Okay, that just gives you an example, something I can just look at. Down here, I mentioned the volume. You can see it kind of goes low, and it goes up, and then it kind of comes down. It kind of creates this bowl, and now it's going up again. So expect it to tee off somewhere around it, right up in here. Okay. So last thing I'll go to is BTC, just because I talked about that. And let's go to Coinbase, one I've been using. And here's what's going on with the pattern. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for that drop off. Let me get rid of this auto. And that's going to be at the same time as the XRP. So it should be in sequence, unison. And if you look at these, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? Look right here. This is the same pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. So what I'm going to do is I want to see what's going on right here to kind of give us an idea what's possible right there. So let's go to the 1 hour. Let's go down here and see what's going on. Okay, you can see how wide some of these are. So there's this kind of W that happens before it pulls down. And these are just little guys. So you can see what happens after the little guy. It just runs up. So when we go back to our chart, and just think about that W right there. If we go back to the 4 hour and go back exactly where we're at currently. So we got the 1, we got the 2, we got the 3. And I can see this either going and doing like a W and then going down, or I can just see it can do it. It doesn't have to do that. I'm waiting for that to happen. So everything that tells me it's game time. Okay, so I just wanted to share that with everything that you guys just watched on the live, and that's what I'm looking for right now. So I'm looking for this to pull down, and I'm looking for XRP to do something like BSV. I'm going to go back to that one more time. I'm looking for this is where we're at in XRP, and I'm looking for this to happen. Okay, so once we go down, in which you can see it kind of, look at that wick on that one there. I'm on a 4 hour candle here, but you can see it dropped down. So it kind of did this, came down, and then created a probably, let me zoom in this thing, probably created that, yeah, so you can see it pulling down. That's what I'm looking for right there to do that. And inside this, if I went in here, you can probably see that that gooseneck in there if I went in deeper. So that's it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and once again, sorry for the live. I'm not going to use that anymore. I'll just use YouTube. I'll see you guys. Bye.